Fever FM, the number one choice in Leeds.
ओके मेरे दोस्तों वेलकम बैक आप सुन रहे हैं फीवर एफएम और ये as I've been telling you earlier on.
सुने दिल की मैं ना सुनूं.
You give me fever.
Right, then welcome back मेरे दोस्तों. You are listening to Fever FM and together we can program में I'm been describing to you. We have a lovely young lady here, Clare Howarth. She's the head of Diabetes UK in the north, and I've been reading a little thing on their website, and it says our vision is a world where diabetes can do no harm. I welcome you, Claire.
Thank you so much for having us today.
Oh dear, just 1 second. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, that's loud and clear. Welcome.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you for having us today.
You are more than welcome. This statement here just says a lot, really, doesn't it? Your vision when diabetes can do no harm.
Yeah.
Will be.
It's a big vision. It's a really big vision because we know at the moment diabetes is a tipping point. We know the pandemic shone a big spotlight on diabetes and perhaps scared people living with diabetes because it was out there, it was in the news, how high risk those of us living with diabetes are of COVID and poor outcomes from COVID. But, you know, it's really important because diabetes, if not managed, can cause serious complications. Mm-hmm. Things such as stroke, heart attacks, amputations, kidney disease, you can lose your eyesight. There are so many things. Diabetes affects every part of your body. But, and a big but, and a positive but, if we manage it well, and if we live with diabetes well, none of those things have to happen. So it's really important that we create a whole new generation that stops any of these harms.
It's easy saying these things that, you know, if we manage it well. How easy to manage it?
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy to manage diabetes. And when I say it's not easy, what I mean by that is the healthy choice isn't always the easy choice. It isn't always the most affordable choice. So our society doesn't make it very easy. But also, it's very hard to live with diabetes and to prevent diabetes. So if you live with diabetes, you're thinking about everything you eat, everything you drink, you're thinking about your activity. And you think, I know we all think about that, but you're thinking about it a lot more when you live with diabetes.
Of course.
And, you know, that's hard.
Yes, yeah. And does that, you know, in itself, because, you know, you're going to have a drink, you're going to eat something, you are thinking about, as you say, about it. Does that have, you know, some other effect on a human being?
Ooh. Of course it does, yeah, because it's relentless. You know, you don't want eating and drinking. That's how we sustain ourselves as humans.
Of course, yes, yeah.
And for most of us in most of our cultures, it's a social thing, isn't it? If everybody, you know, I know in work, if I've done something and someone's grateful, they'll buy me a box of chocolates. I know at Christmas, people buy me boxes of chocolates. So, you know, we use food and drink as a big offering of love, of friendship, of culture, of religion. It fits into all of our lives. So all of a sudden, to have to think about that so differently, that's hard, isn't it?
Of course, it must be very hard. Can I just ask you, while we're talking about chocolates and sweets and all that, you know, I believe the government is talking about this sugar tax and whatever. Do you think, in your opinion, would it make any difference?
I think it goes some way to helping. I think it goes some way, but I think it's about a lot more than that. I think it does go some way, but I think it's about making the healthy choice, the affordable, easy choice. So I don't know about you, but where I live, it's very easy to go out and buy quite rubbish food. Food with a high fat content, food with lots of sugar. It's so much, it's ready-made for me. It's easy to do when I'm busy and the children come home from school. I think what we need to do is get better at making that healthier choice, the easier choice, and the more affordable choice. So how easy is it to cook for big families? How is it? It's also really expensive to cook and shop if you live on your own. So it's all those things I think that we need to, that will level up and make people really be able to make the right choices for them.
Right. Okay, can I just go, come to the beginning, really? There's obviously two types of diabetes. I'm sure a lot of people know about it. Would you like to please just go through them?
Of course. So there's lots of different kinds of diabetes. Right. There's actually about 18 different kinds.
Oh, really?
So there's lots and lots. But the three biggies are type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and gestational diabetes.
Right.
So what that means is, so type 1 means you can't prevent type 1. It's going to happen to you or it's not. There's no way at the moment we can prevent type 1 diabetes. It's a body's autoimmune response.
It's genetic, is it?
Well, it's not particularly genetic, but it's an autoimmune. So it could be a reaction to a bad infection, a reaction to a shot. It could be a reaction to for some reason our bodies react to something and we go on to develop type 1 diabetes. And it used to be known as a younger person's condition, but we're now seeing a lot of people diagnosed with type 1 diabetes in the 40s, 50s and 60s. So it's not always just a young person's, but we do know it's more commonly diagnosed in our younger people. So there's nothing anyone living with diabetes can do at this moment in time to prevent the onset of it.
Obviously, people who've got it, they've got to be very, very careful, and they take insulin and, know.
So they use insulin to treat their diabetes, and insulin, which comes into its 100th birthday. So that's a fantastic scientific discovery, but we can still only inject insulin to make it work. So that means people living with type 1 diabetes will use injections, or they might have an insulin pump to deliver their insulin. And that is hard. They often have to carb count. They have to read the ingredients of food. They have to understand a lot about food. And quite often, but not all the time, they're looked after by secondary care. So people like consultants and DSNs in a hospital.
Right.
And Leeds is a fantastic hospital for our people living with type 1 diabetes.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Really fantastic, yeah. So type 2 diabetes is a little bit different. So type 2 diabetes can, not always, but in most people, can be prevented.
Okay.
And the biggest risk factor for going on to develop type 2 diabetes, the one that you can do something about the most, is being overweight.
And this is the one which affects most of the...
So this is the more common one. So if you think about diabetes, if you thought about type 1 and type 2, only 8% of 100 people will have type 1. The rest are likely to be in the type 2. So that's the more common one. And that's often lifestyle generated. So if we're not moving about more, if we're eating too many calories, if we're gaining weight, but there are some other risk factors that are really important. So not everybody can stop the prevention of type 2 diabetes. Some people might have a more predisposition to develop it. And some people from South Asian and Black African Caribbean communities, we know they're 2 to 4 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes at a younger age, and they might be at a leaner weight. So it's unfair to say that it's, obesity is always the leading, because there are some other factors at play with type 2.
For example?
So your ethnicity, your age, the amount of activity you do, those kinds of things really would be the things that, you could still be quite lean and still start to onset with type 2 diabetes.
I see. So to do with your lifestyle, then I suppose you can.
So you can manage your risk.
What would you recommend? Okay, what is the best way to manage if you got this type 2 diabetes?
So the first thing I would say, if you've got any kinds of diabetes, the first thing I would say is some peer support, because it can be a lonely place. And if you're constantly thinking about what food should I buy, what activities should I do, what recipes should I follow, that's quite a lot to be trying to do on your own. So try and look for peer support. We've got a fantastic peer support group in Leeds and in surrounding areas that you could go to that are supported by ourselves at Diabetes UK. So
Right.
you're guaranteed you're going to get the up-to-date right information, advice and support.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
So please always come to us. You've got our Diabetes UK website that you can go on to.
Yeah.
There's also, if you're in a position where you're worried, have I got diabetes or haven't I? Should I go onto our website, Diabetes UK, and look at our Know Your Risk tool, and that asks you some screening questions.
Yes.
And it will give you a traffic light. Red, oh, you probably got type 2 diabetes. Amber, you might need to think about this. Or green, no, you haven't. If you go on there, that might just help you to think about what little things you could do to prevent the onset of diabetes. We also have across England, we're very lucky, we have a diabetes prevention programme.
Right.
And so you can access that either virtually or face-to-face. And again, if you go on our Know Your Risk tool, that will tell you about that. But also, you can, if you can get through, phone or email your local GP, who will also do a screening and send you a referral for that.
Oh, that's brilliant. So there is plenty of help available.
Lots of help. And so don't try and be on your own with it. It's hard.
Do you see a lot of people, we ignore that fact? Yeah, they need help. They, do they just suffer in silence? Like,
yeah, I think there's lots of different things like that. I think some people maybe just bury their head in the sand and think, maybe I've got it, maybe I haven't, maybe I don't want to know. Some people know and they're living with it, but maybe don't take it as seriously as we would like them to.
Yes, yeah.
You normally find, though, that people will come round in their own time. And if your blood sugars are running higher, you must remember that can make you feel more tired. And that can make your mood feel a bit lower. So there might be genuine reasons people are struggling to come forward to help.
Right, okay. But as you say, there is plenty of help available. What are these sort of like misconceptions around the health and diabetes awareness, really?
Misconceptions. I think there's lots of misconceptions. I think diabetes, I think it's one of the most stigmatized health conditions.
Right.
So I don't think it's I think there's millions of people living with diabetes and there's millions more people who don't yet understand diabetes. Right. And so we did a big launch of a campaign on Wednesday of last week, and it's called This Is Diabetes, and it shows a video clip.
Right.
It shows the impact and what we hope, the very real life stories, the real people really touched by diabetes, and we hope that people living with diabetes can see a little bit of themselves in them stories, and we hope that people whose diabetes might not have touched yet by someone they love or themselves, we hope that they can start to see maybe some of that stigma and misconceptions aren't true. It's very stigmatized. We're doing all we can to really challenge that. It's not about fat shaming. Some people cannot help getting diabetes. There are different types at different times in people's lives. And I suppose the biggest thing I would say about the misconceptions is almost everybody will have a diabetes status.
Yeah.
It's just if you took the time to think about it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Similar sort of question again, really. How are you sort of, with the Diabetes UK for this project, New Look on Health and Diabetes Awareness? What are you actually doing, and what would you like people to sort of look out for and do, really?
So what we're doing big calls to government. We're doing calls right across all our governments, right across the nations, and we're asking for them to make more funding available so that we can prevent type 2 diabetes and that we can support people living with type 2, type 1, gestational, all the other kinds of diabetes. We're trying to call on the government to get as many people into remission. So we know that if people are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, we have a short window, a period anyway, between 1 and 6 years, where we can start to actively get those people into remission. So we want to see more about that. We want to see the government fund excellent weight loss programs that are affordable. And we urgently want to address the post-pandemic blockages. So we know that a lot of people haven't had the care they've required over the last 2 years. A lot of people might not yet have had a diagnosis. And so we're calling on the government very urgently to undo that backlog.
Is there a funding shortage, or is the government not funding enough at the moment, in your opinion?
It'll never be enough, in my opinion. We
No?
need a lot more. It's a very big health condition. So yeah, we would always ask for more funding into diabetes and diabetes research.
All right. So do you think that, obviously you hear about this sugar tax and food and whatever sort of thing, adding any more food onto sort of legislation that, oh yeah, if you eat this, we're going to put, the tax up a little bit sort of thing. So do you think, in your opinion, would that help?
Well, we know we've got next year, that there's going to be no fast food adverts until after 9 p.m.
Right.
So that's a really good move, because, we want our younger generations to have good, healthy messages, don't we?
Of course.
So I think that's something that's really important. But yeah, for me, like I said earlier, it's all about making healthy foods and easy healthy foods. And more, at the supermarkets, when you see buy one get one free, they're very rarely on our healthy stuff, are they? I want to see that. I want to see all those things. I want to see it totally different. And when you get by the checkouts in our supermarkets, it's all healthy things for us, not just your sweets and things like that. There is a place for some sweet foods. It's all about balance. I like a little bit of chocolate as much as anybody else.
Of course, yes.
But it's about balance.
Yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of our people who are suffering with the type 2 diabetes, and some of them are in an unfortunate position. They can't sort of log on to a website or find out information about this, and maybe they're not at that stage where they are getting a professional opinion. What would you say to them? Okay, these are the number of things which you should look out for.
So again, I would definitely say if you're struggling and you can't get access to websites and stuff like that peer support. Do you know anyone else living with diabetes? Is there somebody else who doesn't live with diabetes but you trust and they have quite a healthy lifestyle? Could you get some peer support there? We also have a befriending service for people where you can talk to somebody on the phone.
All right.
And we have our helpline. Our number for that is 0345
0345
123
123
2399.
2399. I will repeat this later on as
That
well.
would be great. So phone us, we can talk you through things. The other thing I would say is try to move a little bit more. So if it, and that is not easy. Some of us have mobility problems and they can come from all different reasons. But it might be that you can just spin your wrists in between adverts. It might be that when your radio station goes to a break, you get up and you do a few steps, or you just sit up and stand down. Just do anything that can help you to move more, because the more we move, the more that helps us break down the food.
Oh, we do our best, we put some nice fast dancing music, and we encourage people to say, yeah, come on, go and dance.
And all these things, putting the radio, I know on a Sunday I like to put the radio on and do my housework. That's moving more.
Yeah.
Make time. What I would really say is make a little bit of time for you and your health, because you're important. Absolutely. And if you can make that time to think about, what am I going to cook this week? When will I build in time to move? When will I think a little bit about myself? Even just doing that bit of mindful thinking for you will help.
Oh, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. So we are really coming to an end of this. Thank you very much for giving us so much information.
Thank you.
It's the Diabetes UK. People can log on for all the information.
They can log on to our website, which is diabetes.org.uk. And you can also, if you have Facebook, we have a Facebook group, which if you look us up, it's Diabetes UK, your friends in the north. So everything there is all about the North region. So you'll meet other people there from Leeds and from surrounding areas. Yeah. And you've also got your local Diabetes UK Leeds support group.
Oh, that is brilliant. Thank you very much
Thank
for being
you.
with us, Claire, and giving us so much information. It's been
Thank
lovely having you.
And you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.